Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. Hello everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for The Last Ship, Season 2, Episodes 1 and 2, The Unreal City and Fight the Ship. I'm your host, Clio, and welcome to the One Woman Podcast. I have another. They let me do another. The Arrow wasn't bad enough. They gave me another one. More like I said, I'm doing The Last Ship. Anyone want to do it with me? That was more how it went. So I sort of want to start off by saying why I love this show and why I'm doing this podcast. Last summer, TNT was advertising two shows in tandem. Legends, which is the Sean Bean show, which I love Sean Bean, so I was like, yes, Sean Bean, alright, I'm totally into this. And the second one being The Last Ship, and I was a little less interested in it. I was like, okay, this looks cool, some Navy stuff, some virus-y things. And I ended up liking The Last Ship a lot more than Legends. So much so that I didn't even look up when Legends premieres this summer. That's a pretty big indication of how much I love this show. It's not that Legends is bad. It's definitely not. But I had very low expectations for The Last Ship, and what it gave me was amazing. So it's sort of that I thought this was going to be shit and it was fantastic kind of thing. Legends was good. It lived up to my expectations. It wasn't amazing. It's still a good show, and I'm gonna watch the second season. But when I saw and last year they advertised the two shows together. This year they're clearly making the distinction. The Last Ship was, every time I saw a commercial for The Last Ship, it was by itself. There was no hint of Legends being advertised with it. So The Last Ship definitely has found its own legs and its own, fan base. The critics love it. So that's why when I started seeing the ads for The Last Ship for the second season, I was like, yes, I have to do a podcast on this. Mostly because no one I do the podcasts with know the show. No one watched it. No one knows what I'm talking about. I actually got two of the ASO TV podcast crew to watch it. And they may be coming on every once in a while, so that'll be a lot of fun. But I find myself wanting to talk about the show and having no one to talk about it with. So if I just talk about it to the internet, I'll probably feel better about it. But this season premiere was amazing. So much stuff happened, and I actually should have rewatched the season 1 season finale, because I forgot a lot of stuff. But they did a fantastic recap in the beginning, so I was like, oh, okay, I remember where we are. We're in trouble. Yeah, it just drops you in the shit in this episode. These episodes, I'm sorry. They really made the distinction, halfway through, at the hour mark, they were like, hey, there are 2 episodes, don't go anywhere. And it was funny because there was no commercials there. They just took a break in what seemed like the middle of a 2-hour episode to say, hey, don't go anywhere, and then we went right back to the story, and I'm like, I thought there was going to be commercials. I fast-forwarded for no reason. It was just really funny to me. Because my mom was looking on like, what are you doing? I was like, shh. I thought there was commercials and there wasn't. A couple stuff in this episode. There are spoilers, by the way. If you didn't watch both episodes, leave. Go watch them. There was a lot of stuff that happened in that second episode that I was shocked at. We lost 2 characters who I thought were going to be major players in at least half of the season. And I don't actually know. Last season was a full 22-episode season. I think the same is for this season. So I thought at least we'd have 11 episodes with these characters, but Amy Granderson, and the Rebel leader both got killed this episode. Well, yeah, no, the rebel leader got shot. He was bleeding out. So yeah, I mean, they're dead, and I was definitely expecting more from Granderson. But she just sort of shot herself up with the drug they used to kill people in the stadium. I was super surprised. Did not see that one coming at all. But yeah, they took these 2 hours to sort of wrap up the cliffhanger from last season, which I think is fine, and it just leaves me wondering where the rest of the season is going to go, and I'll talk more about that at the end, because that's like my last point on my notes. Yeah, I expect to see more of them, but it really seems like the plot's just going to keep moving forward past this town and the shit that's gone down here. So let's start, because these 2 episodes sort of took place in 3 chunks. Let's start off with the ship, which was I mean, most of the characters we know and we're rooting for are on the ship. So a lot of time was focused there just because of the sheer number of things that were happening and people that were putting this plan into motion. Everyone on the ship is a badass. Every one of them. They all stepped up. Everyone. The wife, the Quincy, the EXO, what's her name? Garnet? I don't know her title. She's not a lieutenant. She's an officer. She's a higher officer because she's in charge of... I think she's in charge of engineering because when she was sick, Cho had to... Or not, his name is not Cho. What is his name? That's a problem I've been having. Is so many... Chung had to fix the ship last season. So I think she's in charge of engineering. There's just so many... I mean, obviously it's a ship of like 200 people. And there are just so many characters that... And I didn't have this problem last year because I was watching this on my own time, and in my head I was like, oh yeah, that person did this, and this, and this, and then... But now I'm sitting down to write, and I was like, I don't know half of these people's names. I had to look it all up. I'm like, oh, okay, this is this person's name. I'm not sure how to address... There's one name I couldn't find, and it's the guy who plays chess with Quincy. I'm just calling him Chess Bro. I'm just gonna call him Chess Bro, because I just could not find his name. But he's a great character. And I love him. And he stepped up. He stepped up too. Like, just hands tied behind his back, about to throw himself at this armed guard. Super badass. O'Connor jumps off the ship like Ezio and climbs back up the rigging. It's like, do you understand how much of a badass you are? And he fucks with the temperature, and he was the one that just on a whim started this whole plan. Like, as soon as Garnet heard that he had jumped off the ship and they noticed that the temperature was fucked with, she's like, okay, here's the plan. And she did such a good job of, like, she's obviously a high-ranking officer, so she can handle giving out orders and organizing people. And I think it's not just her, but it's the whole crew, because when you're in that sort of hostage situation with guns pointed at you and your hands are tied, you can easily fall apart. But this whole crew just stuck together, and she just kept them like, okay, here's the plan. You're gonna stick to this plan. Stick with me. Follow my lead. She's such a badass. I love her. She's great. We got a decent amount of her last season. She was only in 15 episodes actually, but we got a decent amount of her last season. But I think these 2 episodes, there was so much more of her, especially the character development, showing her ability to lead. Honestly, I think the same could be said for the trio of badasses that slipped away from everyone, from the rest of the group. Sitwell, who's also another name I couldn't find. Sitwell, who's the medical officer. He was a surprise badass. I was like, Sitwell, you better not be doing nothing shady. And then he really stepped up. He saved he rescued the Primordial from the assholes. Himada, I think, was Granderson's doctor's name, the head scientist. Yeah, Himada. Yeah, no, Sitwell, he was the exact opposite of Sitwell. Instead of being a lying fuckhead, he was a honest, couldn't lie to save his life sweetheart. And that was very refreshing. Like, I liked that he's not now a typecast actor. That he's very much looks like he's on his way to being a character actor, which I hope to see him in more things as different people. He's a very, very good actor. Although they do keep his look the same with the bald head and the glasses. I love it. I love it. Oh my god, the EXO. Motherfucking Jane. I was, the whole episode, I was like, I was making the joke. This is Vera, she's my very favorite gun. Firefly jokes. If nobody's watched Firefly, the EXO is a character on Firefly. Was a character on Firefly. God, the jokes go so good. Anyway, he was a badass too. It's like they lock him in a room. It's like, bitch, this is my ship. Opens the hatch, does his thing. He fucking, with the hatchet, man, just, they're rolling around in the hallway, and then he just hatchets the guy in the chest. It's like, holy shit! That was a crazy fight. That was an insane fight. Yeah, no, Slattery, that's the EXO, he's fucking crazy. And he hid the Primordial, which I'm very shocked that that thing did not go bad, because he took it off the ice pack and put it, like, in the rafters, and it's like, that thing is gonna go bad! What are you doing? But at least, you know, he saved it. Who knows if it's still 100% intact, but not only did he save it for Dr. Scott, he saved it from Hamada, so that's a good thing. Who else we got? Chessbro? Oh my god, Chessbro. I can't. He's like my second favorite character. I'll talk about my third favorite character when my first favorite character when we get to him. Oh, Chessbro might be third. I think it might be Master Chief. Let's see. Master Chief, Scott, Dr. Scott, Tex, Chessbro. Some of my favorite characters. This is really just a show of an ensemble cast. This is no one character could do this by themselves. Or no small group of characters. This is definitely an ensemble cast. I love those kinds of things. Quincy. Bro, Quincy stepped the fuck up. Talk about fucking redemption stories. I mean, we already were feeling for him because the Russians took his family. I mean, he was only doing this to make sure that they were okay. The Russian was very weird. Oh my god, that was one of the worst parts of last season, was how the Russian captain was treating Quincy's wife. Because it was super creepy, and it was like and I don't know if they ever, oh, now I forget. Because I know they were hinting at he wanted to rape her, or he had raped her before, and it's like, oh god, no, stop. So, like, and she was doing that to protect the daughter, so that the focus would be on her, and the daughter would be safe. It's like, oh god, stop. Why? But, poor Quincy. Like, I saw it in his eyes as he ripped the gauze off. It's just like, oh, it wasn't a gauze, it was a stint. It was a clamp. He ripped the clamp off. It's like he had adrenaline in his system, so his blood was pumping. It was like, it's like, no, Quincy. Oh man, and they didn't even show us. They just threw his body overboard, and it's like, they did what now? He's just gone. That was such a feeling when they said that they had just, in dialogue, said they threw Quincy's body overboard. That was just such a feeling of like, that's been taken from me. Do you know what I mean? Because seeing someone die and then seeing their dead body, there's a closure to that. But we didn't see his dead body. We just saw him dying. And the next thing we heard, they had thrown his body overboard. And it's just like, I have no closure. It's just gone. So that was a really tough scene to watch. Segueing away from the ship, another tough scene to watch was Kara getting dragged off because they needed her baby's DNA. Oh man, that was really hard scene to watch because when she was trying to fight to get off the table, she's like, oh no, stop it. This is not cool, stop. I'm very glad that the other doctor recognized this is fucked up and untied her hand. She is a badass though. She just stabbed that guy in the chest with that giant needle. I'm sorry. Did you like your heart? Man, no, that was tough. I really want to talk about Granderson because she confused me a little. Because obviously she's a smart woman. Obviously she's built this society. But she's also sort of built this wall in her brain. Like she's deluding herself into thinking that this society's gonna work. And I think a lot of people in the society have also deluded themselves to be like, you know, shitting on 75% of the population. That's okay, man. It's fine. We're gonna live. We're good people. It's like, no, not really. No. I kind of like that in the end. Her two main guards were just sort of like, yeah, this is fucked up. Well, I ain't gonna help you no more. And I was unsure if those guards did that because they were afraid for their own lives, or if they really were just like, what we're doing is not good. Let's just give up. A little unclear to me. But, I mean, I really just couldn't figure her out, besides the fact that she's deluding herself, because she's so smart, but she's such a coward, and she's so uncompassionate. And is she incompassionate because she's deluded herself into thinking that this is the only way? I don't know. But, what I really don't know is her long-term strat for this. Like, what was her strategy in the long run? Were they just gonna live in seclusion forever? In this one building? They were gonna run out of people to burn. I mean, you're burning people faster than people can have babies. I mean, that's the thing. I don't know. But, she was so, and like the worst part about all of it, like I can understand her being just, deluded and a coward, but she was so condescending to her daughter. She's like, these are difficult times, and I know it's hard for you to understand. And I'm just like, bitch, she understands. She understands you're fucking crazy. It's like, how could you be that condescending? It's just, yeah. But her daughter's a badass, and I loved her in the first season, and I love her even more now. She took a bullet like a champ, like... That was tough, and that was the thing that that Captain Chandler used. Commander Chandler used against her. Like the biggest point was like, your cops shot your daughter on your orders. It's like, yeah, lady, yeah. What did you expect was gonna happen? Dr. Scott. Dr. Scott didn't get much screen time this episode. She was too busy being escorted around by the douche squad. But I really loved her scene. Well, her scenes with Tex, obviously, because I love her and Tex. That's another story. But the scene where she goes out on the street, she's like, let me go vaccinate some people. You know, cure some people who are already sick. And I was just so sad at she cured the kid, the baby. She's like, I can cure your son. I can't cure you. And the mother was just like, it's fine. And I was just like, no, oh God, it's so sad. Who's going to take care of the kid? Oh my god, I really was crying at that scene. It was so, like, holy shit, why? And I really loved Tex's part in this episode. Because he was just sort of gonna go do his own thing, and then this kid is like, do you really not know what's happening? He's like, come kid, sit down, let us converse, tell me what's going on. And then he's just like, no problem, gets into this like really secure facility. He's like, I'm security, I got all these qualifications. They're like, come right on in. And he's like, he like executes all of that so flawlessly and gets to Dr. Scott, who looks so relieved that he's still around, and I'm so happy that okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Last season, there was weird sexual tension between Commander Chandler and Dr. Scott, and I was not having it because A, Commander Chandler's married, and B, Stop shoving main characters together. It doesn't have to happen. Stop it. So, because Chandler's wife is now dead, I really hope that they don't force Dr. Scott and Chandler together. That's all I have to say, because I think that her and Tex are awesome. All I have to say. But yeah, I hope that Tex will continue to stick around into the future, because the way I see him, and the way I wrote it down in my notes, is he is a nice version of Pope from Falling Skies. And it's not that Pope is not a good character. Pope is an amazing character. I love Pope, but he's a fucking asshole. He is a fucking asshole, and Tex is a good person. Like, Tex is a genuinely nice person. So it's like, I love you, Tex, because you are a good version of Pope. Which is another TNT show, which is ending soon, which I'm very sad about, but I want to go. I want to see it. I'm behind, I think. And I want to see it out. Falling Skies is a very good show. Anyway, moving on. Chandler and the family. That daughter, listen, this whole episode, she's gonna be a badass soon, is all I have to say. But she was very... Obviously, she wanted to do stuff. She wanted to be active. And I think her coming with the Nathan James in the future, it's gonna give her opportunities to step up and be a badass. And she's already a little badass. I'm like, oh, yes! Oh, I want to see you do stuff. And I'm very glad that the brother didn't die, because that was a really fucking close call. I was like, oh my god, does he have the disease? For a hot second, I thought he had the disease. I was like, oh my god, no! Oh man, and Master Chief. Master Chief is my favorite character. I don't have time to talk about why he's my favorite character. I hope that they'll bring up his past a little more this season. They touched on it a lot last season, but I will, in the future, definitely talk about why I love Master Chief so much, but he is my favorite character. He was running around with a bullet in his arm. Was it arm or leg? I forget, but he was running around with a bullet wound this whole fucking time, like, no big, I got this, guys, don't worry. Definitely my favorite character. And Commander Chandler was not dealing with anybody's shit today. Just roll up, boom, 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 boom. Okay, we got this facility. Okay, you're rebels, let's go take her down. Blah, blah, blah. Boom, boom, boom. Like, just got everything done. He's not taking anybody's shit. He got everything done. And yay, everybody wins. Yeah, needless to say, I was surprised that we're not going to see Granderson in the future. We're not going to get the rebel leader in the future, unless he survives, which I don't think he did. He was bleeding out on the floor. I think the question is, will this city be alright when the Nathan James is gone? Or will it descend into chaos again? I mean, they're giving the people the cure. They're gonna... at least I think that's what they're doing. They're gonna cure everyone who's left, who's sick. And then they're gonna go. I think they're going back. I forget freaking where they're going. But anyway, there's we're not even sure who's going to continue onwards, because I love everyone in the crew, and I want everyone to stay, but they're let me talk about next episode. It's not a rumor. The Nathan James returns home to Norfolk on a mission to produce and mass distribute the cure. With his family now safely aboard the James, Chandler sends his crew in search of their own friends and loved ones, who, if any, will find their families, and will they return to the ship when they do? That's what's got me worried, that we're going to lose a bunch of people. When they find their families, they're just going to want to stay with their families. And I'm wondering who knew we're going to get on the ship. Like, if people are going to bring their families to the ship, or their significant others, or whatever. I'm so excited for this season. It's going to be fantastic, and I'm very excited. I hope you guys are excited too, and if you don't know The Last Ship, you really should go watch it. Go watch it. It's very good. You can find me at Cliomoto on the socials and on Twitch at The Cliomoto, and you can find all of us on ASO TV Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, Google+, MySpace, and right here on YouTube. Follow us for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. We are going to be doing Fear the Walking Dead when it comes on in a month or two. They're doing Big Brother right now, Pretty Little Liars. You can go back and watch our old shows. We're going to do Ant-Man when it comes out. Whole 9 yards. It's going to be great. So just go follow us. And until next week, bye-bye!